The public is starving for a new leader of this discussion. They know something's wrong.
Security is something that the grizzly bears need. The problem is they don't eat trees.
The recognition is coming because important places are burning, like South Lake Tahoe, or Napa, or Malibu.
The lack of forest management in the Northwest that creates the habitat that the bears like hasn't been going on, ironically, because of the bear.
You want to change a political discussion, you get 10,000 people standing on their $10 million home with a $6 hose going, "This sucks!" Our first adaptive management project was at the south end of this lake.
In the most northwestern corner of the state of Montana, a mining company and a logging company are changing the way forest management is looked at.
Their next project it's called the Montanore Project. It's south of Libby by the wilderness area.
Hecla Mining Company purchased 6,000 acres set aside as grizzly bear mitigation land near its mining operation outside Libby, Montana.
Well, they were required to purchase the acreage to go through the permitting process for these copper and silver mines.
And they are wanting to enhance that. If we're going to own it and we're going to do something, let's really make it some grizzly bear habitat, and let's try to be a good neighbor as a land manager, make sure that it's fire-wise, grow some food for the species that we had to buy the land for to begin with, and have them be out on that landscape instead of downtown next to the elementary school.
So if we want to grow the food that the grizzly bears eat, they said, go ahead and use our land as a crucible and see if we can do something to remove the timber to reduce the fire danger and grow food for the bear.
Vincent Logging Incorporated creates bear habitat by thinning the forest to make more open spaces so that food can be planted for bear and other wildlife.
It's a really big deal. I mean, setting aside land for a species is really great, but if they don't have anything to eat, they won't live there. And they don't eat trees, so we're trying to figure out how can we manage the forest in a way that grows the food they eat.
In the Kuntai National Forest, the grizzly population is recovering, but bears have to be relocated here from other overpopulated areas.
So we're faced with a dilemma. If we want to recover the species here, we've got to have food, and we don't want them shopping in town in our garages next to the elementary school. We'd like to have them out in the landscape eating. And right now they're coming out of the landscape because there's no food there.
Another threat to the grizzly, wildfires. But since the grizzly is still on the endangered species list, the work that needs to be done to make a more fire-resistant forest can't be done because of the rules.
80% of this county, like many areas in the West, is owned by the federal government. And since the Endangered Species Act is the trump card that is used by anti-management litigants, if we don't manage for that species, the species of choice in any given area, we're going to lose in court and not be able to do any management. So what we've got to do is make the argument that forest management helps species, particularly threatened and endangered species.
Imagine a world where loggers become habitat restoration specialists and are seen as not cutting down the forest but creating vital habitat for all sorts of species. Adaptive management would free up timber for the mills, recreate usable habitat for the grizzlies and other animals, and help bring back balance to a landscape in desperate need of active management.
Because we can walk out to where we managed 5 years ago now and see that grass is growing, the berries bears eat are growing, the legumes they dig up in the spring are growing.
The goal is to use this as a pilot to then be able to go out into the Forest Service land. We have hundreds of thousands of acres of land like I'm logging on Hecla ground that would be great for an entry to create habitat for the grizzly bear. I think society is starting to learn. I think that we are having some of those big 500,000 acre fires that are burning up 4, 5, 6 towns at a time. I think that they're understanding more. Unfortunately, is that part of society has a zero cut mentality, and they are using the system to prevent any type of management, because they want Mother Nature to manage it. They're happy with the outcome, whatever it is, and don't think that people should be living out in it to begin with. Those are the folks that, those are what we call the conflict industry. The conflict industry is in its winning. If we can do it here on the Kootenai, with the plethora of endangered species that we have, that these agencies are trying to manage and take care of, if we can do it here, it can be done anywhere. Anywhere. You can't find another place in America that can check all these boxes like we can here. And if we can do it here, we can do it anywhere. We can fix a lot of things in a lot of places.